Hello everyone, welcome back to our Jump in Jan series. Today we're taking a look at, what are we looking at today? The Data Input Wizard, that's right, we're looking at the Data Input Wizard. So if you've never used this before, it's a really kind of easy tool to do daily imports, to do, all sorts of pretty cool data manipulation. So we're going to take a look at what it is, about how you can use it, and about doing a practice exercise. So I'm here in my org, and the first thing that we actually want to do is think about what are we going to import. It's called the Data Import Wizard. It's not the Data Export Wizard. So you're really only importing data using this tool. So I'm thinking that I'd like to import some new leads, and I've actually gone ahead and created a bit of a mini kind of new lead spreadsheet here. It's very basic, so it will only take 5 minutes for you to work this up yourself. I didn't actually write out all these names either. You can just search up random name generators and random phone number generators, and it all comes up here. Now, what we want to think about when we're importing new leads is that we're essentially creating a new lead. All right, that's what we're doing. We're creating heaps of new leads. So when you're preparing your data for import, it's always a good idea to go ahead and go new in your Salesforce org and pretend to create a new lead or a new object that you want to import. Because when you do that, you'll realize what restrictions you've put in place for your lead creation, because those same restrictions, they will apply when you use your Data Import Wizard. So for example, here in my org, I can see that I have some required fields. Last name is required, and company is required, and lead status is required. So I need to make sure that I have those required fields in my lead document here. Otherwise, I won't be able to import them. All right, you run into errors because these are required fields. You have to have them. Doesn't matter if you're creating it new like this or if you're actually doing it through the Data Import Wizard, you still need to have it. So in my spreadsheet here, I can see, I've got first name, last name, I've got phone number, I've got the status, but I don't have the company field. So I just might put in an example company here. All right, and we're just going to put that down there. We're going to pretend they're all from the same company just for ease. And then you need to export whatever it is that you're using, but make sure that you do it as a CSV file. It has to be a .csv file. So just go ahead and do that one, and you should see it come down into your downloads. Then we're going to go to our Data Import Wizard, which is in our Setup menu. So if you go into Home and Setup, and then just search up Data Import Wizard. It's one of the really cool things about this tool is that you don't even have to leave Salesforce. It's all here within Salesforce. So there we go, Data Import Wizard. Open it up, and we're going to just go through it with what we've got and see if we can import some leads. Okie dokie. While that is loading, it's useful to know a bit about the limitations of Data Import Wizard. So you can only import, like I said before, no exporting, no backing up. And it's limited to 50,000 records at a time, which may seem like a lot, but other tools have limits of like millions of records. So in comparison, Data Import Wizard is kind of like this little baby tool. It does what it needs to do, but it's not the most hardcore tool out there. All right, so import your data in 3 easy steps. That's where we want to go. There's a lot of fluff on this page, but you can just start with your launch wizard. Okay. Once that loads, then you kind of work your way across the screen left to right. So you start with what kind of data are you importing. Now we're doing leads, all right? So I can just click on leads here. All right, but notice you can do accounts and contacts, leads, solutions, campaign members, and then your custom objects. What's not there is things like opportunities, products, things of that nature just aren't here, so you'd have to use another tool for that. All right, so I've chosen leads. Then what do you want to do? Do you want to add new records? Do you want to update existing records? Or do you want to add new and update existing records? So you might use your add new and update if you've got a big list and some of these people are in Salesforce, but some of them also aren't, then you would go for this one. All of ours are brand new, so I'm going to go for the add new records. It does make things a little easier, I have to say. Because I'm adding new records, I don't need to match the leads really by anything. If I was updating records, then I would want to match my leads by a unique combination of fields or an ID, a unique ID. Because what Salesforce will do is it will look for a match and then it will update that. But you might have 10 Amber Josephs in your Salesforce org. So which one would it update? It can be very difficult. So that's why you need to decide what you're going to match by if you are updating records. Assign new leads to the source. Oh, maybe we don't have that. We can just leave that there. But maybe you could also say, well, this is a purchase list. All right, assign all leads using this assignment rule. Use assignment rules to email owners. We might say yes. Assign all leads to campaigns. We might say sure, let's do it. All right, so that's all for our add new records. If we were doing an update existing records, then it would be these ones instead. All right, but we're doing add new records. Okay. Yeah. All right, and then over here, drag your CSV file here to upload. So I'm just going to drag it from my downloads up into here. All right, and then once that's all happy, we can go next. And it's asking me to now map my fields. So the first one that I'm going to map is this first field here, and it's got all of the other examples of some of my other records. So I'm just going to click map, and I know that that first field is actually my first name. So I can click map there, first name, and then I'm just going to go through all of my different kind of columns for my spreadsheet and update it. Excuse me. Last name, map. This one is phone. There you go, map. This one is status, lead status, map. And then my last one is my company field, which I added. So company, over here, map. And then next, whoops, you need to map the required field, campaign member campaign. So that's because I chose the campaign option. So I'm actually going to go previous, remove that campaign option. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to remove that one. And then I need to redrag. This is kind of the annoying thing about Data Import Wizard. It's actually quite good to see, is that it doesn't save your mappings. All right, so that can be a real pain, actually. We're just going to bust through and go next. So you now have to map them all again, whereas if you were using another tool, for example, Data Loader, that actually gives you the option to save your mappings, which is quite handy. Then you don't have to do this. Because imagine if you have like hundreds of fields, maybe not hundreds, even just, more than 5 is a bit of a pain, really. So let's have a look. Status is the next one, then company, and hopefully it's going to let us all go through this time. Again, I'd really recommend you do this. It's not too hard to create your own data, and in fact, there's quite a few good Trailhead badges that let you download sample data, and then you can give it a go from there. All right, so I click next. It was happy with what I've done this time. It's going to map my 5 fields. It's going to go in leads, add new records, and if I'm happy with that, I can click start import, and it will send me an email as soon as it's done, which, because this is a very small import, it will probably be done pretty much straight away. All right. So you can view this in your kind of bulk data load jobs, which you can find in your setup menu. And you can see here, completed in the last 7 days. This is the one that I just did. Status closed. It was an insert lead. 6 records were processed and they all went in. It took about 13 seconds. All right, it was pretty quick. So if I wanted to double check this, I could go back into my leads. All right, and I could go into my, let's have a look, maybe today's leads and see what comes up. Remember, it's always really important that you test things. And for us here, it looks like it's worked perfectly. So that's how you can use the Data Import Wizard. I hope it was useful to you. I hope you learned something interesting. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.